Hi, I'm Howard Feldman, and I wanted to tell you about some of the courses that I run. The ethics course, which is really ethics or honesty, a rare superpower, was born out of a conversation that I had with a friend. He's a CEO of a large software company, and he seemed frustrated one day. I said to him, what's going on? And he said he's got a problem in that some of his young guys and young women who work for him and who are often at the banks, at financial institutions, seem to be a little confused as to how to behave in those environments. And I asked him for a couple of explanations, a couple of examples, and he said to me, for example, they'll come home with an extension cord or an adapter that belongs to one of the companies that they work with, and when questioned, they'd say, no, it's fine, it's not a problem. They've done an incredible job for the bank. They've worked over hours. They haven't charged for all the time, and it's the bank. No, it's not really an issue. And of course, this bothered him. He made them take it back. But the reason that they did it and what was not connecting for them is what really bothered him. So we sat down and we spoke about why ethics, why integrity, and why morality is a bit of a problem within our society. The more research that I did, the more I found that the impact on our environment, political, business, family, plays the greatest role in influencing our behavior. And if perhaps in the past we would look at law, we would look at religion, we would look at family, all of these structures are somewhat different today than they used to be. And what that does is it creates a very, very difficult situation for people to understand what is morality, what is ethics, and what is expected of them. So there's lots and lots of research, very, very exciting research around this topic. But what I decided to do was take a look at good versus evil from a superpower's perspective. Because really, is there anybody more moral than Batman and Superman? I started to look at these things and I realized that actually it's a little bit more complicated than I had thought. Why? The world of good and evil, of course, is absolutely split and defined, and we know that Superman exists in order to do good. But then if we think about it a little bit deeper, we realize that Superman has a day job and he works for a newspaper. If I was employing him at the newspaper and he ran off every time there was a crisis or every time there was something that I needed him to cover, I would be pretty annoyed. In fact, from an employer perspective, Superman is pretty unethical. Let's take that one step further. He's in a relationship where he hasn't even told his girlfriend who he is. He's got this whole other life and he is living essentially a complete lie. I'm not sure what kind of basis for relationships that is. And when you start to look at it from this perspective, you realize that we don't live in a binary world. We actually live in a world that is very, very confusing. Good people can do bad things. Bad people can do really good things. And what we have to try and determine is what our environment, what our society, and what we want from ourselves. How do we achieve that? Do we all cheat? According to Dan Ariely, the psychologist, the social behaviorist, we do. We all cheat. He calls it the fudge factor. We cheat a little bit. And the question is how big that factor is and how we can reduce it. What are the factors that influence our ethical and non-ethical behavior? That's what this course does. It's a lot of fun. We go through, I use pop culture. Of course, we have to use a little bit of philosophy. We have to use a little bit of history. But I like to think that the participants come out with a deeper understanding of what morality really is and what ethics really are, and how they can use very, very basic skills to determine what they want to achieve by this, by their own behavior, and how the behavior of the environment affects who we are, how we run our businesses, how we run our families, how we behave within society. It is a fun course, and I'd love you to participate in it.